today I'm going to be doing my September wrap-up. I had an absolutely amazing reading month in September. I am so in shock in all of myself because I read 12 books. Holy crap. Well, 7 of them were audiobooks, but still, that's so many books. I've never read anywhere near this many books in a month before. This is insane. But anyways, there's a lot of books, so I should get started. Also, because there's so many books, I'm not going to talk about what each individual book is about, but as always, I will leave the links to all of the books down below to their Goodreads so you can go check out the synopsis. So let's get started. The first book I read in September was These Broken Stars by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. So I actually listened to the audiobook because I heard the audiobook was amazing, and it was. I loved this book so much. I really wanted to read it because Amy Kaufman wrote Illuminate, and Illuminate was so freaking amazing. I just really wanted to check out more books by her, and These Broken Stars just really intrigued me. I loved it. I'm not a sci-fi reader at all. I actually really don't like sci-fi. I really love the sci-fi element into this book. It was so cool and well thought out, and I loved it. And also this book is a romance, and the romance was just so cute. I love this book so much. I gave this book 4 stars, and I'm so pumped for the second book in the series. Next, I read Demigods and Monsters by Ray Wagner. This is the first book in the series. I read the second book. I'm not going to talk about this book because I did a spoiler-free review, so go check that out if you want to see my thoughts on it. Next, I listened to the audiobook of How to Train Your Dragon by Cressida Howell. So when I found out this audiobook was narrated by David freaking Tennant, of course I had to listen to it because, oh my god, I am a huge fan of David Tennant. I freaking love him so much. He's my favorite doctor ever on Doctor Who. I've seen all the classics, I've seen all the modern, and David Tennant will always be my doctor. I just love him so much. No, I'm super biased, but this is seriously like one of the best audiobooks I have ever listened to. Not only is David an amazing narrator, but there's sound effects and music in this audiobook. It was incredible. I loved it, and the storyline was so cool too. Because I have never seen the movie, so I actually had no idea what to expect going into this audiobook. And I really loved it. I thought it was so silly and fun and entertaining, and I just had so much fun listening to this audiobook. I definitely need to go see the movie now, and I'm really excited to read the second book in the series. Obviously, I'm going to keep listening to the audiobook because the entire series is narrated by David Tennant. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Next, I read The Rose and the Dagger by Renee Audier, but I actually listened to the audiobook. I did read a few parts of the book since I actually have the physical copy, but for the most part I listened to the audiobook, and oh my god, that was such a great decision. Names in here are so hard to pronounce, and the audiobook, they pronounce them the way they're supposed to be pronounced, and like now I know how to pronounce everything, and I'm like so happy. Like the main character, her name is Shahrazad of Khaizuran, and she's married to Khalid ibn Rashid, and she is the Khalifa of Khorasan. I probably still said them wrong, but I'm just so happy I actually know how to say all the crazy Arabian names. I'm so happy, and I really love this book. A lot of people say this book is not as good as the first one. I disagree. I think this book is just as amazing as the first one, but I do prefer the first one because the first one was centered around Shahrazad and Khalid's romance, and it was like them getting together, and this book is all focused on politics and the war. There's not a lot of romance in this book. It was so amazing. I gave this book 5 stars. It was so incredible, and it was so heartbreaking reading this book because I just love these characters so much, and this is the duology, so this is the last book in the series, and it was just so bittersweet reading the ending because one, the ending was so amazing and I loved it so much, but it was just saying goodbye to these characters that I just loved so much. It was so hard. I just love this duology so much. I'm so sad it's over. Next, I binge read the entire Ruby Red series. As I mentioned in my September TBR, I had previously read Ruby Red when it first came out. I bought the rest of the series when it came out because I was like so obsessed with this book when it first came out. I was first getting into YA when I read this book, and this was like the best thing at the time when I was reading it. I gave this book 5 stars when I first read it, and I absolutely loved it, and I reread it this month, and I still absolutely loved it the second time around. But I did lower my rating. I think this book and this entire series is more of a 4-star series than a 5-star because while it's so fun and well written and well thought out and it's so good, it's not deep or thought-provoking. It's just so much fun. The first book is Ruby Red, the second book is Sapphire Blue, and the last book is Emerald Green. I definitely think the first book was probably my least favorite, even though it was still amazing. Just every book improved so much. Sapphire Blue was absolutely amazing, and then Emerald Green was even better. This whole series is so good. If you just want like a fun series to binge read, that's just a lot of fun and super entertaining and funny, definitely check this series out. It's such a fun series to read. I just love it. Next, I listened to the audiobook of Exquisite Captive by Heather Demetriou. So this book was a complete surprise. I just finished the Rose and Dagger and I didn't know what to listen to next. And all of the books that I really wanted to listen to on audiobooks were all on hold, so I couldn't listen to anything. So I was looking through my wish list audiobooks and I clicked on this one and I listened to the sample. And the first sentence of the sample was, "He buried me alive." And the second I heard that, I was like, wait, what? Wait, what did I just hear? And I just had to keep listening. So I checked it out instantly and I read it and it was amazing. I think my favorite thing about this book is definitely the world. This book is about like a genie in a bottle, but they're named Jinn, and the whole world is so cool. It has this like Arabian magical elemental magic stuff, and it's so cool. This book is really dark though. It definitely deals with the idea of slavery, which I never really thought about. A genie in a bottle is pretty much like a slave because they have to do everything their master tells them to do. And if they don't do what the master tells them to do, they can just put them in the bottle. Like, they're essentially slaves, and I just never really thought about it in that way. And that book, this book explores that, and it was really hard to read sometimes because of that. But I still really, really loved it, and I'm so sad that my library does not have the second audiobook because, oh my god, I want to listen to the second audiobook like now, but they don't have it. So I have to wait and get the book, and I'm so sad. I want to read it. I gave it 4 stars. I'm so pumped for Booktube. So the next audiobook I listened to was Deep Blue by Jennifer Donnelly. So I was so freaking excited to read this book because it's a mermaid book and I freaking love mermaid books, and I put the audiobook on hold and I was waiting for it for so long, and I finally got it. And when I finally listened to it, I was so disappointed. I don't know what it is about this book. I don't know if the audiobook was bad or if the book is bad. I just don't know. I just didn't like it. I was so disappointed. This book just felt so childish and young. I don't know why it was characterized as a YA novel, because this easily is a middle grade or maybe even younger than that. And the audiobook narrator was weird. One, I don't know why they asked a freaking 13-year-old to narrate an audiobook, because it was a 13-year-old narrating the audiobook. Like, what the heck? Then on top of that, she didn't really differentiate in the voices, and I got so confused when I was listening to it because I didn't know who was talking because all the voices sounded the same. And just the audiobook was not good at all. I don't know if it was the audiobook's fault, if it was the book's fault. I don't know what was wrong, but I just didn't like this book. I was so disappointed. But it's not a bad book at all. I still gave it 3 stars because it's not a horrible book. It just wasn't for me. The next audiobook I listened to was The Young Elites by Marie Lu. So I've met Marie Lu twice, and both times I still had not read any of her books. And I was like, and I found out I was gonna meet her again, and I was like, okay, that is it. I cannot meet Marie Lu again and still not have read any of her books. Like, that is ridiculous. I'm reading her book already, and I did. I listened to the audiobook, and not only was this audiobook amazing, but the story was incredible. I loved it. I love this world. I love the characters. I love the magic system. I just love everything about this. It's definitely really dark. Marie Lu said that this book is inspired on the Venetian Renaissance, which is honestly one of my favorite historical time periods ever. I loved it so much. I'm so pumped for book 2. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I finally read a Marie Lu book. Finally! It took me long enough. I finally read a Marie Lu book and I absolutely loved it. Next, I read Empire of Storms. I don't really want to talk about this book because I have like 10 pages of notes. I'm going to be participating in a live show for Empire of Storms. I'm so excited. I'll put our Goodreads group down below with more information about it. But I talked about that in my Throne of Glass character tag, so if you want to know more about it, go check out that video, and also link down below. So I'm not sure if I want to do a review for this book because I took notes while reading for the live show, but I could easily turn those notes into a review. So if you guys want to see a review of this book, it will be spoiler-free and spoilery, so if you have not read the book, you can definitely still watch it. Comment that down below, and I'll try to do one. But it probably won't be for a while because I have so many notes, and I'm going to be really busy. So that's why I want to know now if you guys want a review so I can start working on it, because it's gonna take me a while. And the last book that I read in September, I actually literally like finished yesterday afternoon, like just in time to count as September. I listened to the audiobook of The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. So when I found out that Jim Dale, the narrator of the Harry Potter audiobooks, narrated this audiobook, I had to get my hands on this audiobook, and I did. And it was so amazing! Jim Dale is an amazing narrator, but I just don't know how I feel about this book. I didn't like it, I didn't hate it, I don't know. I wrote a full-length review though, so if you want to see my thoughts, so I'll leave that down below. All for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Oh my god, I read so many books. This is probably such a long video. Comment down below if you guys want to see an Empire of Storms review, and also for those of you who have read The Rose Society by Marie Lu, I'm not sure if I want to listen to the audiobook or actually read the book, because I think that the audiobook is absolutely amazing, but I feel like I would love it so much more if I actually read the book. But the audiobook is so great. Listen to the audiobook, I can read it sooner, but if I read it, I have to wait a while. What do you guys think I should do? My Goodreads, my Twitter, and my Bookstagram are all down below.